up, Combination? Welcome into NBA DFS Live for Wednesday, February 5th. I'm your host, Ben, also joined by Justin Bales. Bales, we have one of these big slates once again that is just going to be filled with chalk,
Yeah.
I feel like it happened a couple weeks ago. It was a big slate, and it was really chalky. That's going to be the case tonight after this big trade went down last night. So before we get into injuries in the slate, what was your thoughts on the big 4-team trade as a whole, or whatever it was?
Initially, good for Atlanta. I really like Clint Capella. I honestly, as weird as it sounds, good for the Rockets. They are, I believe, 10-1 on the season without Capella, and they're like 5-0 when none of their I believe they don't play anyone taller than 6'6". So like they're really doing the small ball, and because they obviously can shoot so well and they have guards that rebound as well as they do, they kill. So no real need for Capella, I don't think, whereas Covington just kind of adds another shooter and defender on their team. As for Denver, I don't remember the trade completely, but it seemed like Denver gave up some solid young players and didn't get much back.
Yeah, I'm a fan of Napier, but I don't really know what the point was for Denver. I know they got a first-round pick, so that's good, but I don't really understand,
But Vanderbilt and Hernan Gomez both have a ton of upside. And yeah, I mean, Hernan Gomez has played a bit.
I'm a big Napier fan, and I like the Nuggets. Like, the Nuggets are my West Coast team. I don't know, really what the point of that was for them, but whatever. I don't know. I didn't really understand what they were doing. I think maybe they're going to make another move. Like, maybe that was, the beginting of another move that they're going to make.
That's what I was thinking, too. But, getting rid of Beasley just seems weird. I like Bates Diop, but I understand that he's not that good of a player. I just kind of like him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It was weird. So, I agree with you. Capella was not a good fit for Houston, so I like him on Atlanta. I think that should be good for real life. Fantasy, it kind of hurts Collins because his numbers are really good when he plays, center. So, but for real life, I like that for Atlanta. I like it for Houston, honestly. I mean, Covington is the perfect player for them, 3 and D, but I don't know why people just frown upon teams trying new and innovative things. If it doesn't work out, then it doesn't work out. But I think we can all agree that if the Rockets had Clint Capella and Westbrook and Harden, they're not going to make it to the finals, right? So, why not try something different and, play to your strengths and see if that can get you over the hump, because they're not going to get to the finals anyways if they have Capella. So
they have so many people putting in the work for the analytics and stuff. I guarantee you this was the right move for the way they play.
Yeah, for sure. But I just I see so many people killing them on Twitter
that's always going to happen. They killed him on Twitter when they decided to just start throwing up a ton of threes, even though they were 4 feet behind the line and stuff. And that's the most productive shot in the NBA now. They just were on it before everyone else.
I don't think people even understand what they're doing. Because all I saw people saying was, well, if they play a big team in the playoffs, they're going to get crushed down low. That's what they want, right? They want
to shoot threes.
They want you to post up on them and score that way while they shoot threes. That's literally what they want to do. So they're accomplishing their goal. But I just don't think people understand what they're trying to do. But I'm not saying it's going to work at all. But I'm all for teams trying new things. Whatever. I think
imagine someone like a Vika Zubac trying to cover PJ Tucker. Yeah. It's just not going to happen. So either you're going to leave someone open to shoot threes, which the whole team can shoot, or 2, you're going to play small ball against them, and your team likely isn't built for it.
Yeah, and I mean, we saw this. They did this the other night when Capella was out. They started Tucker at the 5 against Gobert, and they won the game. And that was when they were really short-handed. So I'm not saying that means they're going to go to the finals or anything, but I mean, we literally just saw this have success against a team that has a big center a week ago. So it's not the craziest thing. Dylan said wasn't the biggest trade of the night because of Mookie. Yeah, that was an insane trade right there. That was crazy. So I think Bales and I agree Boston should not have traded Mookie Betts. Like I think most people agree with that. I mean, if you have a player like Mookie Betts and you're not like a really small market team, like Boston is not like Tampa Bay or Cleveland or something like that, right? Like you can pay Mookie Betts if you want to pay Mookie Betts.
You can do whatever you want. You have the bankroll to do anything.
I don't think they should have traded him, but I personally, Bales likes Alex Verdugo. I love Alex Verdugo. Like I love him. He's one of my favorite players. One of my favorite up and coming players. So I like that they got him, but there's no way they should have traded Mookie Betts.
The way Ben and I slightly disagree on this solely because from my perspective, I said if Verdugo hits his ceiling, he's still probably slightly worse than Mookie Betts is. So you just traded Betts.
Be better, but that's like obviously like the 5% outcome. Like it's not likely.
So I mean,
but yeah, it's a stupid trade. They should never have traded Mookie Betts. I liked it for the Twins. I loved the Twins getting Maeda. I'm not super high on the pitcher they gave up. I think he has really nasty stuff, but I'm not sure if he's ever going to be like a full-time starter. I know he pitched in the pen a little bit last year. I don't know. I'm not super high on him. So I don't really mind them giving up him getting Maeda because the Twins can win the Central this year very easily, obviously, which we know that. But, I mean, the Twins are good. I mean, they obviously, won it last year, went to the playoffs. They got swept by the Yankees, I believe, right? I don't think they won a game.
Yeah, I think they got swept.
Yeah,
but
so
I mean,
I love that move for them. I mean,
they're
in the window. Again. Yeah, they're in the window to compete right now. So I like that move for them.
I think the big takeaway from this, and I mean, it sucks for all the Cleveland fans out there, but now you can't get Verdugo, Lux, and May for Lindor.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they were ever going to get both, or it would have already happened. But yeah, I mean, I'm from Ohio, obviously. I really wanted to get Verdugo, but didn't really work out that way, I guess. I don't think they're going to trade him this year, though. I'm guessing, I don't even think at the deadline. I think they'll just wait until next offseason, would be my guess. But I don't know. That's tough. The Indians are another prime example. They can pay Lindor if they want to. They just don't want to.
Yeah, which is so weird.
Yeah. What I think that the MLB should have, I don't think they should have a salary cap. I think there should be a threshold that you have to spend if you're a team. If you want to change things. I think that would be good.
Yeah, I don't have any problems with that. I'm a fan of the salary cap because small market teams just get hammered over and over and over.
I just don't think it'll ever change because the players obviously love making as much money as they do, because the baseball players make a ton of money. So if you go to a new CBA and you propose let's put a salary cap on it, all of you guys are going to get somewhat pay cuts. I still think the players will ever agree to it.
I don't think it'll ever happen either.
Teams like New York and the Dodgers, they don't want to agree to it. So I just don't think it will ever change. But
I doubt it.
Yeah. Dodgers are stacked now, though, man. Frosty's angry at the Dodgers because he wanted the Padres to get Mookie. But all right, we'll get into NBA. So like I said, this is a chalky slate because of these trades. And I told Bales I was going to drop some knowledge on this stream today. There needs to be some type of rule in place for DFS with the way basketball is. This is not an issue with NFL or baseball, but with basketball in specific, there needs to be some type of way where the pricing does not come out until later in the day, or there's a way that they can change the pricing after 3 hours before lock or something. There has to be a way where the pricing gets changed because we get these chalk slates because guys are mispriced because of guys sitting out. Or, all these trades, the pricing came out last night for this slate before that trade went through, right? So it's all irrelevant. There needs to be a way to change the pricing or have the pricing come out at 3 p.m. every day or something. I
would agree with that, but that'll never happen.
I know it'll never happen.
Why not just take all the cheap guys and bump them up? You have just... Thinking out loud right here, Jordan McLaughlin is 3,300, right?
Yeah.
What is the only situation in which anyone will ever play him? If other people are out.
Yeah.
No one's just, if it's a healthy Minnesota team or a full Minnesota team, no one's saying there's McLaughlin at 3,300. I need to play him. So why not bump him to 5K regardless? And that way, when someone gets ruled out and he's locked into bigger minutes, you have to make the decision of playing him or not.
Yeah, I agree. They just don't want to, I guess, is the problem, or they would have done it by now. But as far as injuries go, yes, we're talking basketball. Sorry, we got kind of sidetracked with those the trade talks there. But Derrick Rose is out again, which helps. Obviously, Reggie Jackson, who he didn't have a big game in that last game, but he also was like a game time decision. Like, yeah, but we didn't even know he was going to play until right when the game started. And
yeah, so he saw limited minutes.
I didn't even play him on DraftKings because I didn't play him on FanDuel, and then I moved off him on DK because I didn't know he was going to play. And there was nobody I liked in that game to pivot to, so I just moved him to LeVert, which worked out because he had a really big game. But so you have Reggie Jackson, Bruce Brown, those guys get a bump up. Kemba's starter out again, so the whole Boston team gets a bump up. Daniel Theis is out as well, so Cantor will probably start. Obviously Tatum, Brown, Hayward, those guys get huge bumps up, but I think they're going to be overlooked on this slate because there's so much value. Everyone's focusing on Minnesota. So for tournaments, the Celtics are in a really good spot. He also shot 1 of 16 from the field. That's a good point. Not good. He could shoot 1 of 16 tonight, though, and I would not be surprised by that outcome, though, to be honest with you. So,
who are we talking about?
Reggie Jackson.
Yeah, I mean, no, he's elite. In a play, anyway.
Kyrie's still out, obviously, so Dinwiddie, LeVert get the big bumps there. You can look at other guys like Prince and Temple, but it's really Dinwiddie and LeVert for me. Doncic is still out, so it's obviously Porzingis. Jeremy Grant, I think, is a big one for the Nuggets. I think he's doubtful the last I saw. Mm-hmm. So if he ends up being out, which I would assume he is if he's doubtful, they're going to be without him, Millsap, Mason Plumlee. They don't have Juancho Hernangomez anymore. They don't have Beasley. They don't have Vanderbilt. And then Michael Porter Jr., I think, is questionable. So they could be without all of those guys. If Porter Jr. plays, I think he's a really good play. If he doesn't, Jokic is going to basically have to play like the whole game. I don't really know how he doesn't. Like, he's barely going to get any rest. So really play there. And then you have like Torrey Craig, obviously, that you can consider as well, in addition to the guards, Barton, Gary Harris, Jamal Murray. But the Nuggets are going to be very thin tonight. And then right before we hopped on here, Tristan Thompson got bumped down to doubtful. So, we saw Nance and Love play really heavy minutes the other night. Henson, I don't know if they moved his price up, but you could consider him if he's still really cheap. But really Love and Nance get the biggest bumps there. But that about does it for the big injuries. We'll get to the positions now. Bales, who are you looking at point guard tonight?
Reggie Jackson, I think, is pretty clear-cut cash. Jarrett Culver is also point guard eligible on DraftKings. I think he will be chalky at only 3,900. Besides that, you're basically going to play one of those two. If you're spending up, I would assume it's going to be on either Dinwiddie or Trae Young. I'm fine with either one of them. I think I lean Trae Young against Minnesota, though. Outside of that, we have guys like Jordan McLaughlin's only 3,300. You can use him in tournaments. Bruce Brown. I have a hard time paying 5,800 for Jalen Brunson, but he does come with upside. And then I think you can take guys like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander or Dennis Schroeder. Both make sense against Cleveland in this matchup, and it's not like either one of them is far too expensive or anything.
Yeah, I think you covered that pretty well. Reggie Jackson, I think, is obviously one of the better cash game plays given his price. Jarrett Culver, again, very, very good play. Should obviously start at point guard for Napier. He's really cheap relative to what he can do in this new role that he's going to be taking on for what he's priced at now. So I agree with those. Bruce Brown, I think, is fine. Trae Young obviously is number one in tournaments for me always. And I mentioned this to Bales before we got here. I think this is a really good tournament slate because you're going to be able to know what the chalk build is. Everyone's playing these cheap Timberwolves guys, right? So just don't play them in tournaments, right? Like Culver, Okogie, who we'll get to, these guys can suck like very easily tonight. Like they can very easily go out there and even at their price, did not have a good game. So just simply don't play them in tournaments. Play them in cash, but just don't play them in tournaments. Just pivot. I think it's a really good tournament slate. Dinwiddie's great, like you said, and then McLaughlin, I think, is great in tournaments because everyone's focusing on Culver. I think Culver and Okogie will be 1 and 2 in terms of ownership for like their cheaper guys. So I think McLaughlin's a fine pivot. Keelan Martin as well, who we'll get to, is a good pivot. But we'll move on to shooting guard. Like I said, I think, Keelan Martin, Okogie, Torrey Craig, who I mentioned with Denver, I think those are chalk plays at shooting guard today because they're cheap. If you're spending up, Devin Booker and Dinwiddie are kind of neck and neck for me. I would probably pick Dinwiddie if I was picking one of those two. Would you agree with that?
I don't know. I've been going back and forth on the two all day.
I know. I feel like Dinwiddie's honestly like a little bit safer, just to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think he's a little safer, but I like Booker's upside.
Yeah, so I think I would pick Dinwiddie in cash and then Booker in tournaments.
Yeah, I think I would be fine with that.
Yeah. Jimmy Butler, I think, is fine in GPPs as well. Love Levert on FanDuel for 4,500. Yeah, I'm gonna get to him. I have him listed at small forward for DK, but we'll get to him in a second. You can go ahead and cover who you like at shooting guard. Really, I think it's the cheap guys, like the Minnesota guys, Craig, and then Booker and Dinwiddie if you're spending up, and then I don't mind Jimmy Butler also for a pivot.
Yeah, Langston Galloway is going to see big minutes too. He's only 3,500, but I mean, you have Torrey Craig at 33, Keelan Martin 33, Okogie at 4K, Langston Galloway at 3.5. Like, I think we all know pretty much where we're going here. If you are spending up, like I said before, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Schroeder makes sense, and then you said Dinwiddie and Booker. I like both of them. I think you can take a shot on Wiggins. He just gets a really good matchup against Atlanta, so his scoring could come through in this game. And then if you want to do something super weird, PJ Dozier is probably going to have to play minutes. And I mean, when he gets on the floor, he's generally pretty solid. So at 3,100, if he gets 20 to 25 minutes, I don't think it's the worst play in the world, but I definitely wouldn't use him in cash.
Yeah. I'm happy you mentioned Wiggins. Someone asked about it in chat. I had him at small forward just because I didn't want to talk about every Minnesota player at shooting guard, but Wiggins is like a cash lock for me, I think, on the slate. Like him, Towns, I'm just playing them both. Culver's going to start at point, but it wouldn't shock me if Wiggins just kind of like takes over and takes the ball a lot, and he's going to be able to shoot as much as he wants. So yeah, I think Wiggins is like a cash lock at this point. There is an off chance he could get traded though. So
there's also the off chance that Andrew Wiggins goes out on that floor and does literally nothing like he does all the time.
yeah, that could definitely happen.
I hate having to play him.
Yeah, he's good when when they give him the ball, like they allow him to have the ball in his hands a lot. He's good. It's just the problem of like when he's playing off ball, he's not that good. But there is an off chance he could get traded, so be wary of that. So I'll transition to small forward that. I have Wiggins number 1. Okogie is fine as well. You can use him here. Karis LeVert, who Dylan mentioned, I wrote LeVert up in my article on Monday, and he wasn't very highly owned. Some people were skeptical with the minutes. Everyone was talking about Dinwiddie, but yeah, he got over 30 minutes, had a really big game. I've loved Karis LeVert since he was at Michigan. I'm pretty sure you can probably go check my tweets from like a long time ago where I was tweeting about Karis LeVert because I've been a big fan of his for a while. So I have no problems playing him in all formats on either site. And that's kind of like the same cheap guys that we like at shooting guard are also eligible at small forward on DK. All of Keelan Martin, Bruce Brown, Torrey Craig, those guys are all usable at both positions. So it's really helpful with roster construction, but it also is just going to aid into like the chalkiness of the slate because everybody knows to play those guys. For tournaments, like I said when I was going over injuries, Boston guys, man, I don't think anyone's playing Jaylen Brown, Hayward, Tatum. I don't think anybody's touching these guys today because everyone's focusing on Minnesota, and they're not in a great matchup against Orlando. So I love, loading up on Boston and GPPs. They all scored over 20 points in their last game. They just do everything with Kemba off the floor. So I really like the Boston guys in tournaments.
Yeah, I have no problems with that. I think you can add someone like Draymond Green. He's only 6,600 and keeps dropping 40 plus. I know that Russell's back, so that's going to hurt him a little bit, but strictly tournaments anyway. Derek Jones Jr. at 3,900 is just another guy sub 4K that is basically easily going to hit value. I would guess should see 30 plus minutes tonight. I guess you could use someone like Jay Crowder. He's still only 4,300 against Dallas in tournaments. Vlatko Kankar, if you want to get weird again with someone like PJ Dozier. Assuming Michael Porter is out, Kankar is going to have to play bigger minutes. And I mean, he's only averaging like 2 minutes a game on the season or something, but he has flashed at times. I mean, if you want to take a shot on like Bogdanovich, I have no problems there. Outside of that, I mean, it's just such an obvious slate that you're going to kind of make one or two pivots, and that's where you're going to go.
Yeah, I don't want to play much cash in the slate, to be honest, but like I said, for tournaments, I think it's a good slate. Power forward, Porzingis, top play, obviously. I think Maxi Kleber's fine as well, given the matchup, but I'm definitely going to want to put Porzingis in here if possible. Tatum, I really like him. I wrote him up on Monday, and this is the same exact situation with Kemba and Smart out, so I really like him again. John Collins is fine in tournaments, but I would play Tatum over Collins. I don't know if that's a hot take or not, but I would on this specific slate.
I think that's the hot take. One gets fast-paced Minnesota, and one gets snail-paced Orlando.
Yeah. What is the price of this though? Tatum's like over 1,000 cheaper though, right?
Is he? Tatum is.
It might not be 1,000. I know Tatum's cheaper.
700 cheaper.
Okay, yeah. Collins would make more sense in like a cash, but I don't see how I can play him in cash anyways. So like,
yeah, I don't think you're playing him
either in cash. I like Tatum more, but I can completely see Collins. I have no problems with it. Siakam falls behind both of them for me, and then you have Jaren Jackson. I love Jaren Jackson in tournaments every slate. You just have to worry about the foul trouble, but I think he's fine in GPPs today.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of stupid, but I'll keep it simple for me. I'm playing Porzingis. There's literally no reason I see not to against Memphis with Luka out. Like Porzingis with Doncic out is a absolute stud.
I'm pretty sure he's put up 50 in every game that Luka's missed this season, and
he's basically 8,000. Like it's so nice for the Mavs to have two guys that when they're both on the floor, one seems like he's a solid player where the other one's elite. And then as soon as one of the two is off, the other one can literally just take over games. But I mean, I don't see basically anyone that's going to stop me from playing Porzingis. I think Kleber's fine at 4,500. I like Derek Jones here. Taurean Prince, I do like for 5K against Golden State, but for me personally, I guarantee I will have Porzingis in my lineup.
Yeah, I like Kleber's just more of like a GPP play for me because for cash, like you're playing all these cheap like guards, right? So I don't see how you need Kleber. Like I don't see how you need him in like a cash build because you have all these other cheap guys. But for tournaments, you know, everyone's using that same mentality. Like I'm playing all these cheap guards, so I'm not going to play cheap forward. So I think that's fine in GPPs. I would add Michael Porter in there as well if he plays. I think he's a really good play.
Yeah, I agree with that.
We don't know if he's playing or not. That's the problem.
Just
if news comes out after lock that he's playing, swap onto him in some tournament lineups that you have. If you don't have him, because he's gonna be low owned, and I think he could have a really big game tonight. So I like that strategy. Center is so clear. I mean, it's Towns and it's Jokic. Like. Do Towns know if you take Teague, like Napier, Covington off the floor, Towns' numbers are crazy, really, really good, even better than they are for the season, and they're already really good. He's expensive, over 10K, but he's the best center play tonight, and I'm playing him in cash 100%, not even debating it. And then Jokic, like I said, he's just gonna have to play like the whole game. I know we talk about liking him more when he's at home, but this is a different situation. They're so thin. He's going to have to play a ton of minutes. So those are the clear top two centers. For value, Cantor is great. He's going to start. The minutes still aren't going to be like secure, but he'll be low owned. Nobody likes to play Enes Kanter. So I'm fine with him for like a cheap play. And then GPP is like, it's the other expensive guys, right? Like Drummond is going to be low owned. Vooch on the other side of Cantor. I mean, that's fine. Cantor's not good defensively whatsoever. So I like Vooch. And then Aiden, opposite Drummond. Drummond is also not good defensively. So I really like Aiden. He's going to be low under the slate. And then you have like Naz Reid if you want to get weird for like a stone min guy on DraftKings.
That's who I was going to say him, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to get weird, like I said, I don't think you need that in cash, but if you want to do it in tournaments. And then all the Cavs guys, Nance, Love, Henson, I think those guys are in play as well for tournaments.
I will say for me on DraftKings, it's Jokic. On FanDuel, it's Towns, because I will just take whichever one of the two is cheaper. But on DraftKings, you can also fit both of them, and I'm assuming you can probably fit both of them in relatively easy with all the cheap guards. So
yeah,
I would probably do that in cash. But I do like Naz Reid at 3K. I don't think anyone's going to use him because everyone's going to be on Towns. Serge Ibaka at 61. He's just been absurdly consistent, and we obviously know he comes with quite a bit of upside. I don't really like the matchup, but you should get him pretty low owned too. Outside of that, I mean, if you want to take a shot on like Gorgie Dang and hope that essentially he's going to be forced into maybe power forward minutes, or maybe he'll play center and Towns slides over to power forward because he has a little bit more complete of a game. I don't hate that in tournaments. I feel like I say this every night, but I don't hate DeAndre Jordan. He just comes with so much upside, and no one ever plays him because he only plays 20 to 25 minutes. So you're not really going to have to worry about ownership there. Again, strictly tournaments, though. I feel like that doesn't necessarily need to be said since everyone knows where we're going in cash, but I'll just put it out there.
Yeah, I would play Cantor over DJ, but I can see the logic of playing DeAndre Jordan. I don't mind it for tournaments. Yeah, I like the Ibaka call. I didn't mention him, but as long as Gasol is out, you can play Ibaka, even in cash if you want to. I wouldn't play him in cash today. Maybe on FanDuel where he's power forward, you could throw him in there if you want to, because you have to play two. The strat changed a little bit on FanDuel where you have to play two different positions, but that about does it. Before we head out, guys, head over to Twitter, DFS Karma's Twitter. There's a pinned tweet. DraftKings free roll tonight, $500. You guys, obviously, if you're watching this, you probably played in the Super Bowl showdown free roll we had with $3,000 up for grabs for free. Tonight, they gave us another one, $500 for free. I don't really see why you wouldn't join a free roll, so go join it. There's not going to be 100,000 people in it. There'll probably be 800 to 1,000 people in it. So go join that. It's in the pinned tweet, DFS Karma's Twitter account. And if you haven't already, you can pick up a premium content subscription at dfskarma.com, $9.99. You get access to my final thoughts. You get access to the game theory article, and then you get access to Bales and I's player pool and Bales core 4 for cash games, my core 4 for tournaments. But that about does it. I don't know if you guys are in the Discord, but yesterday I had some internet issues. So normally I don't stream on Thursdays, but tomorrow there's actually a decent amount of games, so I will have a stream tomorrow. And then obviously we'll have a stream on Friday for the big site as well. So thank you guys for watching, and see you guys tomorrow.